endorsement in Outlook magazine or an endorsement in La Jornada or an endorsement in the Communicator of a particular politician often means a lot more than just a generic endorsement. They're smart and funny, or at least we think we're smart and funny. They're usually pretty, but they're edgy and they're energized and they speak directly to the market that you're trying to speak to. So I again, think about going back and talking about who your customers are and who you want them to be and what niches they fit into, far more than just the 5 or 6 demographics that I've listed. But think about how you want to reach out to those folks and what you want to say to them and how you want to say it. When you do that, when you decide, I want to reach out and do this, reach those communities in a way that makes them feel special and respected. Use imagery and language that looks like them and feels like them and shows that you get them. You don't have to be one of them, but you have to show that you understand the market that you're going after. A little bit goes a long way here, but when you get it right, it's magic. Anybody ever seen, you have the ad for the home builder, and they run an ad in the dispatch, and it's a white guy and a white woman and 2 white kids and a white dog and a white picket fence. And they sell houses in Upper Arlington. Works great. And then they take that same ad and they run it in the Communicator and they run it in Outlook and they run it in 614, and then they call us and they say, your publication doesn't work. Really? Why would you expect it to work? You don't get me. You can't necessarily even just take that same ad and cut the picture of white folks out of it and put a picture of black folks in it and run it in the Communicator and expect that it's going to work either. It looks like you took your ad and put some black people in it. Okay? The communities are smarter than that, and it begins to feel pandered. It doesn't feel real. Okay, but when you get it right, it's magic. And here's some people who get it right. Now, they've got billions of dollars to get it right, but there's some people who get it right. These are ads that ran in 2009 for Bud Light. This ad was run to appeal to young Caucasians. This ad was run to appeal to young African Americans. This ad was run to appeal to young GLBT folks. Guess what? It worked. The only thing consistent is they're selling the same beer. Okay? That ad with a group of black people in it doesn't work. That ad with 2 girls in it doesn't work. So you have to reach people in a way that makes them feel that you get them. Okay? And we'll drink Bud Light like crazy. The fact is they're also advertising to NASCAR people. But we don't care because when they advertise to us, they do it right. Be a good corporate citizen and then brag about it. If you don't toot your own horn, nobody else will. Highlight causes that you support, that your target niche cares about. If you support Race for the Cure, make sure people know that. If you support the American Cancer Association, make sure people know that. Highlight your company's policies, awards, and achievements. If you are named one of the top places in America for working mothers or one of the top places in America for adoptive families, make sure people know that. And it's not just fun to do. 46% of all Americans say that they are more likely to do business with a company that they feel shares their values. 46% of people will do business with you because they like you. Want a better number? 49% of people will refuse to do business with you if they think that you don't share their values. Don't take my word for it. I'm going to use some examples again from the GLBT market. It's the examples that I know best. This was an example run by American Airlines in support of the Human Rights Campaign, which is a national GLBT equality campaign. It's very subtle. That's the fasten seatbelt light. That's the no smoking light. And that is the HRC equality symbol. Smart, subtle, Again, advertising to the gay market doesn't necessarily mean you have to put hot boys and Speedos in the ad. We don't mind when you do, but you don't have to. Okay? But what this does is it says, I get you as a market. I know what's important to you. And ladies and gentlemen, this is, I think, the best advertisement ever run in the history of print. It's an ad for Absolute the week that the Massachusetts Supreme Court declared same-sex marriage to be legal in the state of Massachusetts. Absolute suspended all of its print ads everywhere in the nation, in every publication, bar none, and replaced it with this ad. It's a clear bottle on a white background, and in letters too faint to read, it says, in an absolute world, there would be no labels. It's the smartest piece of marketing I've ever seen. It's also the reason that gay men and lesbians, when they walk into a bar and order a vodka cocktail, order Absolute by name 6-1 over all other brands combined. If you owned 74.5% of the market in Columbus, would you be happy? But it shows that they get us. Also, wasn't the first time they'd ever advertised to us. But it shows that they get the market. And lastly, and we're all guilty of this, don't buy into or perpetuate stereotypes. We're all guilty of this. Some stereotypes are true. Most stereotypes are false. Research doesn't lie. So work with people who can help you out with that. So for instance, if you're selling in Columbus, you think the typical gay consumer is young, single, white guy making a lot of money living in the urban core and shopping at Nordstrom's, going to the opera. That's what a lot of people think when they think, I can't advertise to the market. Well, let's take those apart. High disposable income. Yes, it's true. 25% of the GLBT community makes more than $75,000 a year. It's also true that 15% of us live below the poverty line. Nobody ever thinks about it. Kids. Gay people don't have kids, right? Except that in the city of Columbus, 45.8% of all families have children. 46.2% of all gay families have children. Statistically, gay couples are more likely to have children under the age of 18 at home than anyone else. Sports versus the arts, right? We all go to the opera. Well, a whole bunch of us do. And again, I apologize for not being able to read the numbers. 32% are avid fans of the arts, the theater, the symphony. Jim Arter knows every single one of them personally. 29% of us regularly attend sporting events. Scarlet and Gay, the GLBT Alumni Association at Ohio State University, has the largest tailgate party and has always had the largest sports following of all alumni associations other than the band. 34% of us are avid hunters and fishermen. And where do we shop? Well, we all shop at Macy's and Nordstrom's, right? Well, 33% of us do. 46% of us shop at Big Lots. I got this jacket at the Goodwill store for $1.25. True story. I love Margie Pizzuti. She's great. So you put all that together, and you think when you're sitting down and doing marketing that whatever I'm selling, do I need to advertise? Do I need to look at a GLBT market? And you think that that's what my customer looks like. Statistically, that's what your customer looks like. Don't assume you know anything about your customers. And so what are the take-home messages? Understand the niche that you're serving. Do some research to understand who they are and what they're made of. Honestly care about its members. Here's a clue. If If you don't like gay people, don't advertise to them. If you don't want African Americans in your store, don't advertise to them. Don't look and say, wow, there's a huge untapped financial market there. I think I'll go after it. You will fail miserably. And a lot of us won't take your money to begin with. Tell them that you care repeatedly. If you don't, no one will. Show them that you care repeatedly. Sponsor events that they care about, do things that matter to them, offer family memberships that are not traditional, because it's not just gay couples that want to join the YWCA as a family, but it's Latino families where it might be an extended family that want to be able to do a family membership, etc. So ask for their business repeatedly, and then once you get it, elate them, don't satisfy them. Jeffrey Gitomer, the sales guru, says customer satisfaction is meaningless, customer loyalty is priceless. If everybody who came to this left today and someone said, how did you like going to the Metropolitan Club? And you said, oh, it was satisfactory. I doubt people would be knocking down the doors to come next week. But when you go and tell them how fabulous we all were, and you rant about it, and it's all you talk about, and you're all tweeting and Facebooking about it for the next 3 days, Jane won't be able to keep up with all the new members that are coming in. So you have to elate folks, get them excited about what you do. And then finally, find good partners and form long-term relationships. Moving into new markets is not something that happens overnight. It will take you weeks, months, perhaps years. And niche markets are extremely well in-tuned to pay attention to people who are just trying to be opportunistic. My grandfather was a self-confessed Christmas and Easter Catholic. We find people who are self-confessed Pride and New Year's advertisers in Outlook. We see them twice a year. They come in, they see a huge opportunity for financial gain, and we never see them again. Politicians who show up at Stonewall Democrats once in September, and we never see them again. And we don't vote for them, and we don't buy their products. And that's true of all of the markets that we're talking about up here. So that's my 2.5 cents worth about niche marketing and what the niche markets are here in town. I would like to now bring the ladies in on the conversation. And I have some questions that I put someplace, which, Victoria, do you have them? Have I lost them? Wait, here they are. No, you've got them. Yes, I'll give them back to you, I promise. She wrote her answers down on them, so no. So let me start with this. We've got about 10 minutes or so to go over some of these questions, and I'd like to do this. Victoria, I want to start with you. How do changing demographics like the ones we've seen here, how do those influence outreach efforts at Fifth Third, and how do you stay ahead of the curve so that you know what those demographics are coming up to look like?
Thanks, Michael. I'm glad that you asked me that because I actually have a personal story to share regarding my own professional journey and the beginning of my career at Fifth Third Bank. I was actually initially hired to do outreach to the Latino community about 5 years ago when the bank noticed the need to really have somebody, an insider, working at the bank and being able to do outreach in terms of technical assistance to nonprofits and being out there in the community to be able to see what the needs are, not only assessing, obviously, financial needs, but just any kinds of needs through the nonprofits. So I feel like that's a great example of when you are trying to do outreach to a niche market or really any community, really have somebody from that community come and sit at the table. Have a person that is able to have an insider's perspective of the community and the clientele that you're reaching out to. So fast forward where I am now in my career, I actually get to have a broader kind of picture of our community outreach. Our department is responsible for managing the risk and compliance of the Community Reinvestment Act in general to all communities. We manage financial education programming, which is also a good way to really be able to address changing demographics is really educate the demographics on the resources available to them and maybe the things that you can offer as an organization. And we also are responsible for managing relationships with our nonprofits through technical assistance. And so I feel like that's a great example of how the bank really identified a growing population, the Latino community, identified a leader within that community that had an insider's perspective, put that person in a position that can make decisions and